So our topic today is about French Quarter and war sites. So unfortunately, when I cannot join this, and I have to cut a little bit of her part out. So yeah, today will be only me presenting. First, we'll look through the contents. The first part is about the relationship between Vietnam and China. And the second one is some general and tough questions you might get from tourists when you talk about this topic about war sites. Okay, first one, Vietnam and China. So as to the question number one, why could Chinese people not assimilate Vietnamese people after more than 1,000 years of domination? Because just slow down and think for a bit, because around the world, the time for the country, for a group of people to be assimilated are very short, maybe just for 100 years, then a country will be assimilated and become a part of the one that invades them. But why after 100 years, we are still here, we are still Vietnamese people, and we still claim that we have differences, we have a different culture, and we have different identity comparing to Chinese people. We are going to talk about it. So the first point is for our geographic position. This time it is for the farthest compared to other U groups. So yeah, before talking about this topic, so U is Viet, and sometimes we'll see these groups to be called Bay U, which is Bắc Viet. So here, you can look at the map. It is said that from ancient times, after the reunification of China, Queen Xi Huang, which is Tân Thủy Hoàng, sent a general under his command to bring tens of thousands of troops to fight the Bayou, the southern land on the Yangtze River. So here, this is the China, this is the Yu people. You can see this is the Yangtze River, this line over here. So yeah, this is Dong Yu, this is Nan Yu, this is Lu Yu, and yeah, so Vietnamese people, our ancestors was somewhere here. So the farthest compared to other U groups. That commander quickly won the lands near the banks of the Yangtze River, such as Dong Yu, which is Dong Viet, Nan Yu, which is Nam Viet, and Minh Yu, which is Minh Viet. But when entering the land of O Viet and Lạc Viet, O Yu and Lu Yu, which is the entire north of Vietnam today, they faced with a harsh climate and unfamiliar soil. The Chinese invaders were defeated after 10 years of fighting. So this is the map of the expansion of Han Dynasty, and the red arrows symbolizes the Han's campaigns against, the blue one, the southward expansion of the Han. So here, this is the Han Empire. This is the Yangtze River. Oh yeah, here, this one. So, and you can see the U and Vietnamese, or ancestor was somewhere over there at the Hiao Chi. So yeah, it can be said that our geographic position, namely the farthest among the other U groups, was an advantage. And due to that advantage, our ancestors seized more initiative in defending and fighting to maintain national sovereignty. Okay. The second one was due to a foreign policy, which is emperor at home, king abroad. In Vietnamese, we call it ngoại vương nội đế. So what is that? or ancestors were very skillful in their behaviors and tactics to maintain our independence. We understood that the great ambition of the northern people. We understood that they always wanted to dominate and expand their lands. So we used this foreign policy to somehow to defend ourselves. For instance, the hero Húc Thừa Dụ, after reclaiming the northern military officers, after repelling the northern military officers to the other side of the border and reclaiming the initiative, he has proclaimed himself as Tiết Độ Sứ, a local official in the Chinese Mandarin system. So in fact, he owned a large land, but he didn't choose to be a king. He didn't choose to be a king of Vietnam back then, but another title instead. His decision is later on being said to be very wise because he understood that even at that time, even after he had won so many wars, he was still not strong enough to be a king that could directly oppose the Tang dynasty, could not directly oppose oppose China. So on the surface, Húc Thừa Dụ was just a local officer, was just a Tiết Độ Sứ, but he had already been the emperor of one side. In addition, then, this foreign policy was also later applied to many successive emperors and dynasties in Vietnam history. The third one we're going to talk about is we somehow maintain like independence behind the village, which is there's a saying, luật vua thua lệ làng. Have you ever heard that phrase? So yeah, during more than 1,000 years of northern domination, that saying is more brilliant than ever. The Chinese officials at that time, which is, I believe, Thái Thú. I didn't find any other word, but yeah, we'll just say Chinese officials. Kept the power. They kept the power to control a county. They have the power to control a central district, but they could not keep in mind what happened behind the villages. Or another way to talk about it, the Chinese feudal court policies did not spread to the roots of Vietnamese village culture. So commenting on this, journalist Phan Dang has said that this is a very important aspect. We may lose our country at some point, but we'll never lose our village. In the village, deep in the green bamboo rampart, Vietnamese people still spread our own culture, values with our own myths and legends, and share Vietnamese heritage to each other. Hence, it is the customs and the conventions of the village that make the assimilation of and Sinicization impossible to take place comprehensively and throughoutly. Like they could not spread 100%, but just somehow, yeah. At the same time, it was this very few details that led to the relative independence of the village compared to the policies of the Chinese. So like deep down, we still know that there are some differences between ourselves and the Chinese people. Those later on has protect our unique identity. So yeah, you could say that the Vietnamese people kept the country in the first place by keeping the village. And some other reasons, like for Sinicization and de-Sinicization. During those 100 no, 1,000 years, we have created our own methods of survival. There was a comment that goes, Vietnamese people understand China very well because indeed our ancestors in the past has experienced way too many things. They understood the ambitions of the North, thus gradually they created their own methods so that they could both adapt to the enemy, but also at the same time still keep the soul values of Vietnam. So combining both Sinicization and de-Sinicization, Hàn hóa và phản Hàn hóa, I think so, yeah. So, take it as absorbing Kanzi. Our ancestors has carefully refined and sorted that language out. So it was still Chinese, but using the Vietnamese way, not imitating or copying the same. Our ancestors had even created a new script of the Vietnamese people called Nom script. And throughout some of the literature pieces and poems, we can find we can still find that script. And for some other reasons, maybe for the Chinese people, during some I believe the second or the third domination of Vietnam, they also have some civil wars of their own, like for the 5 dynasties and the 10 kingdoms period. Loạn thập nó là cái gì nhỉ? Wait. Ngũ đại thập quốc. Yeah, so basically during those years of domination, they also faced civil war in their own country. So to be fair, then because they have to focus more on their country as well, and even after they have finished all those civil wars, then their strength is not as strong anymore. So that is also a plus point of this topic. So yeah, but overall, I really appreciate our country because we have never given in to the enemy. Like for even 1,000 years of the North, we still retain our own identity and stand up to regain our own independence and freedom. So I think that is a very great thing. So that we are still now today.